The secret is they steam them in beer. There ain't a better hot dog in America.
With so many styles and varieties, sausages are both delicious and versatile. But are you cooking them right? Well, here are 10 mistakes everyone makes when cooking sausages.
No!
Overcooking your sausages.
Zoidberg's getting overcooked!
Overcooking a sausage is all too simple. You can do a few things to increase your chances of avoiding this. To begin, keep the temperature low. If you turn up the heat too high, you'll end up with overdone sausages that are crispy on the exterior, but not cooked through on the inside. In addition, if you're grilling your sausages, cook them over indirect heat. However, once you've completed the actual cooking procedure, you're still not finished.
Not quite finished.
You'll want to consider carryover cooking, which occurs when the heat within the sausages continues to cook after you've removed them from the fire. This is due to the fact that the internal temperature of a cooked object rises for a period of time before plateauing and then decreasing. So, if you remove your sausages from the heat source after they reach the proper internal temperature, you may wind up with overdone sausages. Sausage experts suggest removing your sausages from the source of heat once they've reached around 5 degrees below your ideal temperature to avoid this. Throwing your sausages in the pan immediately.
Quick, not time to cook them. They will plump in my stomach.
We totally get it. You're starving. You get out of bed, breakfast is on your mind, you go into the refrigerator for the morning sausage links, grab your best frying pan and toss them in, waiting for the sizzling to begin. However, you might want to be patient and wait a bit longer the next time you make breakfast.
I was so patient.
It's critical, according to prominent sausage makers, to get your sausages to room temperature before you begin cooking. If your sausages are still chilled, place them in a sealed bag and submerge them in water to bring them to room temperature. If your sausages are frozen, place them in the refrigerator overnight to thaw them before taking them to room temperature just before cooking. And what does this have to do with anything? Any cut of beef is subject to the regulation. The longer your meat takes to cook in the center, the more time it has to overcook and lose moisture on the outside. As a result, bringing your sausages to room temperature before cooking will allow them to cook more quickly on the inside, resulting in the perfect doneness inside and outside, as well as a juicier sausage. Baking sausages.
Dad, what are you doing?
Baking is a popular method for cooking a variety of meats, and for good reason. Baking is simply more convenient. You place your piece of meat in a casserole dish, bake it, and wait for it to finish. There's no need to supervise the stove or grill. For your sausages, though, you might want to skip the baking. Baking sausage necessitates a fine balance between undercooked and overdone, and it's all too easy to get it wrong. In fact, if you merely cooked your sausages on the stovetop, you could find yourself watching just as much.
I see you.
Because it's tough to get the temperature and cooking time quite perfect for each individual sausage. Experts further don't recommend using a meat thermometer to check for doneness or cutting directly into them to check for blood or pink meat. Bye-bye, precious fatty liquids, because they're now all at the base of your casserole dish once you've punctured that precious casing. Cooking sausages without oil or water.
You folks have a water problem!
Sure, some may tell you that sausages have quite enough natural fat to cook well in a skillet on their own. If you fry your sausages in their own fat, though, the fat will leak out elsewhere, which is not what we want. Instead, add oil, water, or both to your pan for a moisture-locking fry without moving into the deep frying territory. The professionals suggest a perfect cooking method that uses both oil and water to expertly cook your sausages. They suggest a 2-step simmer and sear method.
I got a plan.
Simply cover your sausages with enough water to cover everything and cook until the water is barely simmering. When they're fully cooked, transfer them to a skillet with a thin layer of heated oil to crisp up the edges until they're as golden brown as you prefer. This simple method yields sausages that are consistently cooked through, juicy, and never overdone on the outside. Defrosting sausages at room temperature.
I left you hot dogs for dinner. They're thawing in the sink.
If you have frozen meat you want to prepare, defrosting it on the counter is a no-brainer. You won't have to worry about the ramifications of defrosting meat in the microwave or other potentially harmful kitchen places. It can thaw out on its own after a few hours of sitting at room temperature. However, if you keep frozen meat out on the counter for an extended period of time at an unhealthy temperature, germs will quickly multiply. Food left out for more than 2 hours might result in a fast rise in bacteria growth. Bacterial growth thrives when sausages are thawed at room temperature. Germs that can cause foodborne disease can grow quickly at room temperature,
Watching people get sick always makes me sick.
doubling in size in only 20 minutes. If you're using retail sausage, read the label to see if you can cook it straight from the freezer. If your sausage has to be thawed, do it overnight in the refrigerator, making sure that it's below the FDA's danger zone temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Have you forgotten to defrost your frozen food overnight? A somewhat speedier technique of thawing sausage is to place it in a Ziploc bag and soak it in a big bowl of cold water, adding more water every 30 minutes or so. You may also thaw breakfast sausage in the microwave as a last-minute option, but it really isn't recommended unless you're in a pinch and need some sausages right now. Check them and flip them if required every few minutes to ensure they aren't overcooking. Not making your own sausage.
My grandfather was a butcher.
Hey, my grandfather was a butcher.
Want to make your own sausages? Control. You may add or remove anything. Change the coarseness or fineness of the sausage, make it skinny or plump, big or small, spicy or sweet. A very well-made sausage is a symphony in a link that just needs a little accompaniment to bring it all together. Yes, a frozen sausage is quite practical and convenient. However, it's extremely salty, lacking in freshness, and not always up to your culinary standards. Fortunately for us, there are countless fantastic and surprisingly simple sausage ideas to get you started on your way to becoming your own Jimmy Dean. If you're confident and have the necessary tools, you can manufacture patties, links, or sausages with casing. Another advantage to making your own sausages? You can see the sausage being prepared.
Good job.
You have complete control on the flavors, meat quality, and storage time, and also the ability to add in any types of extras that you'd like. You can always freeze your handmade sausages and reheat them on a hectic morning if you still want a very convenient choice. Shape the sage and thyme-infused mixture into patties or links, or cook it in pieces with eggs and home fries for a delicious morning scramble. When you start creating your own sausages, the options are unlimited. Stabbing your breakfast sausage with a fork before cooking.
Hey, you want a hot dog?
Oh, no, I can't. I have Crohn's.
It's been said that pricking a sausage releases the fat, making it healthier, which is about the same thinking as wanting to bake a healthy cake. Sausages are fatty by definition. They are allowed to be up to 50% fat in most countries' food laws. Fat gives sausages flavor, so if you want to avoid fat, steer clear of sausages. Dehydrated water is about as useful as low-fat sausages are. Sausages should be cooked gently on an oiled grill over low heat, rotating several times. They would just tear their skins and expel their valuable biological fluids as a result of the extreme heat, so definitely avoid a piping hot stovetop. After they've been cooked, sausages, like many other meats, thrive from a little rest.
Oh, sausage.
Some of us may assume that puncturing sausages is a good idea, whether out of tradition or because we observed our mother or grandmother do so many years ago in their kitchen. The goal can be to get some fat out of the sausages while they're cooking, or to keep the casings from breaking apart entirely. According to culinary experts, pricking the sausages with a fork isn't essential and can cause the fluids, fats that make breakfast sausage so tasty, to flow out before you even take your first hearty bite. To avoid splitting, sausages shouldn't be cooked over high heat. Allow your sausages to rest for a minute or 5 before digging in to keep those luscious fats within. Allowing them to rest will help those tasty juices to reincorporate back into the meat, giving you the best bite for your buck. Cooking too many sausages at once.
Okay.
What are you doing?
One of the biggest hazards of rushing through the cooking process with sausages will really put a damper on your dinner. Using an overabundance of sausages in the same pan, for example. Avoid the temptation to cook a large number of sausages at the same time. The best technique to achieve the perfect texture and doneness is to cook in batches. When foods such as sausages are prepared too close together,
Too many.
the moisture within becomes trapped, trapping steam around the meal rather than browning them. If you want to steam them, cram as many as you can into the pan or baking sheet. To ensure that your sausages acquire a beautiful crispy coating, make sure to allow them ample room. This browning is quite scientific and is known as the Maillard reaction, which turns raw components into dishes with alluring scents, nuanced tastes, and gratifying textures. Allow yourself ample time and space the next time you prepare sausage to cook it in increments that brown beautifully and reward you with the taste and texture that you're looking for. Starting things off with high temperatures.
Dwight, keep moving if you're gonna walk.
If you haven't already realized this, starting to cook your sausage at a high temperature will only scorch or split the surface while leaving the interior raw. And while there are some pieces of meat that are easy to sear and then cook in the oven, such as steak, sausage is not one of them. Start with moderate heat and gradually increase to high heat. You cook the exterior of a steak first, then the interior, when you sear it and finish it in the oven. With sausage, you'll want to cook the inside first. That's why it's preferred to prepare sausage by simmering and then sautéing. The interior has been cooked and the outside has been crisped and caramelized. You'll get a fully cooked sausage that's juicy on the inside and crispy on the outside that's perfectly safe to consume. This procedure, however, is not limited to the cooktop. Even if you prepare your sausages on the grill, start with low indirect heat to ensure that they are fully cooked before adding a little flame-grilled color. Marinating sausages before cooking them.
Oh, I forgot to marinate the tilapia. I am so sorry, sweetheart.
The bratwurst, like many other sausages popular in the United States today, is of European origin. There's evidence that the first bratwurst was manufactured in Germany, especially given the term originates from the German words brat and Wurst, which indicate finely chopped pork and sausage, respectively. It was initially mentioned in the city of Nuremberg, Germany, which is today regarded as one of the world's leading manufacturers of grilled sausages. If you ask someone in America which state launched the bratwurst revolution, they will almost certainly say Wisconsin. Bratwursts were first introduced to the United States by German immigrants, who prepared them similarly how Americans prepare hot dogs today. Brats truly took off in Milwaukee in 1954 when they were brought to the Milwaukee County Stadium during a baseball game. They've been a mainstay at sports events, both live and at home, ever since then. Even today, during baseball games, Miller Stadium in Milwaukee sells more brats than hot dogs on average, and it's the only stadium in the country that can say that. We've all heard that bathing your brats in beer before grilling them is a good idea, but is it really necessary?
My beer! My beer!
That's not the case, and here's why. Many sausage experts have pointed out marinating sausages is almost completely ineffective. The sausage skin isn't porous enough to enable much flavor to penetrate, unfortunately. If you want a specific marinade in your sausage, you can inject it directly into the casing, albeit this is a method that is a little too time-consuming for the ordinary home chef. So why is soaking brats in beer such a huge deal? If you're new to the process, realize that most home cooks don't simply soak their brats in beer prior to grilling them. Instead, the brats are cooked in beer. The brat inside is cooked in the pre-grill simmer, and the grill only adds some more caramelization and texture. You may add additional moisture to your brats or sausages by letting them sit in a beer bath after cooking. Some home cooks may try to keep their sausages wet by soaking them in beer before grilling, but this does little to improve the flavor. Hey, all right, you made it to the end, so why stop now? Here's another BabbleTop video for you to check out. Thanks for watching.